Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about conducting scientific research as a student, and I'm going to focus on the second chapter, which basically talks about the literature review. And my presentation has the following outline. First, I'm going to talk about what literature review actually is. Then I'm going to also talk about the content that goes into the literature review. Then I'm going to summarize the presentation. So let's get started. Basically, literature review is just a discussion, that you do as a researcher. And that discussion is based on the available knowledge in your research area of focus. Because even before you set out to do research, your research must be focused in a particular area. So if you want to work on something related to, let's say, food, then it must be related to food. You discuss various things, the knowledge base area within that particular research focus, the various types of foods, and all those kinds of things. These are the things that you discuss. So basically, you discuss what other people have done in relation to your research. And then you discuss, or you do these discussions in literature review to help you determine the basic knowledge in the particular area, and what others have also done or studied in relation to what you want to do. So back to our example, the food example, you would have to look at the various types of food, and what others have done in relation to food, and you bring that, in the context of what you also want to do to fill in the gap. Usually, literature review generally occupies the second chapter of the research report. For most universities, it's like that, So your second chapter, or chapter 2, would focus on literature review. And the content of what you put in there must be relevant to the focus or the research direction that you have taken. And the content must also harmonize, with the problem statements, in your first chapter, and also your research objectives in your first chapter. They must all agree, with each other. So literature review basically helps, if done, and done well, it helps to identify various research gaps that need to be tackled by new research. So if you do a literature review and you do it well, you look at what other people have done in relation to what you want to do, you will begin to find gaps, or areas which have not been touched, or things which need to be done but which have not been addressed or done by the other studies. These we call research gaps. So these gaps, become something that new research must also aim to actually tackle. So you do literature review to help you identify these gaps, so that you can actually situate or focus your work on these particular gaps, and also solve some of these particular gaps. Generally, literature review must have the basic descriptions of terms and ideas, in a research area or in a research focus, the area you focused on, basic terms over there and the basic ideas, you must have them in your literature review. The literature review must also describe the bigger global picture, and ideas in relation to your research focus. So what is happening globally? So for instance, if we go back to the example of food, basically when it comes to food, what is actually happening on the global front? The different kinds of food, different countries grow different kinds of food, how they affect us and all those kinds of things. These are the things that happen. Issues related to malnutrition, starvation, these are the global issues, So all these things, you must be able to describe them. And then you must also review or discuss and then summarize, what other people have done in relation to research focus. So if it's some particular processing method for food that you want to develop, basically, then you need to look at all the various processing methods other people have done in relation to what you want to do, And then here, you narrow down the discussions from the global picture. Now you come down and you begin to get to specifics by looking at what different researchers have done in relation to the processing of food, what mechanisms they use to process different kinds of foods. And out of this summary, you identify the various areas which have not been touched by research, things that need to be done, which remain undone or which have not been done. These are things we call research gaps. So literature review helps you to find these research gaps, and these are the gaps that need to be filled in by new research. And in your work or in your discussions, you describe which of the gaps your research is addressing, basically. And at the end, The research gaps to be filled that you discuss must be related to your problem statement and your research objectives. They must be related to each other. So basically, if you do your literature review even well, it helps you to even work backwards, because the information that you find, the knowledge base that you find from your literature review can even help you refine your problem statement and your research objectives, so you can get a better grip or a better hold, of your research. So some researchers typically even begin their research not from the first chapter, but actually they dive in straight to literature review, and then they work backward from the information they get from the literature review and the gaps they identify. They use that information to establish their problem statement and their research objectives, and then they move forward with the research. So in summary, literature review basically occupies the second chapter of the scientific or academic research report. And the main aim of literature review is to basically see what others have done in relation to what you want to do, and to also help you identify gaps or things that remain undone, or things which still need to be done in the research focus, or things which or gaps which need to be filled in by new research. The content of your literature review must be related to your research focus, the area you focused on, that you want to do your research. The literature review must be focused on that particular area, and everything you discuss in your literature review must harmonize with your research focus. And at the end, you must discuss and summarize what other researchers have done in relation to your research focus, because the summary and the discussions will help you identify what has been done and what has not been done. What has not been done becomes the research gaps, to be filled in by new research, or things that need to be tackled by new research. And then you also describe which of these gaps or things that remain undone your research is tackling or your research is addressing. So at this point, I'd like to thank you for making the time to watch my presentation. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.